The following podcast is being brought to you by the Defy Life Podcast Network.
Welcome to the Defy Life Podcast, brought to you by the Defy Life Podcast Network. I'm your host, J.R. Glimpf, joined as always by my wonderful co-hosts, Alvin Glimpf, Thomas Stevens. What's good, fellas?
Yo, what up, man?
I know,
What's
man.
good? What's good?
Hey,
All is well, all is well. Back in this Defy Life world, knee deep already in the NFL season. Feeling good, man.
yes. It does feel like the world is right again. Football is
Absolutely.
here.
Yeah, man. For everybody out there, thank you all for listening. Thank you for watching. Those of you who hit it for the first time, appreciate you as well. Check us out on all your favorite podcast platforms, on the YouTube channel at Go Defy Life. Go to the website at defylife.co. We are everywhere. And while you're out there, go to defylifegear.com and grab you some merch. You know
Show
where we
some
at.
love.
All right, go support, man. Al,
Yo.
seems like we was missing somebody last week when we was picking their Bears to lose. Pooh. Welcome back, sir.
Hey, glad to be back, man. Glad to be back.
Yeah, man. How was it out there in North Dakota saving cats and kindergarten?
Man, doing what I had to do, man. Had my head and eyes and nose knee deep in some books and computers, man.
You
Trying to
scared me with that one.
get this presentation done, man.
Good stuff, man. Good.
There it is.
Hope it all works out. You said knee deep in your head and your eyes and knee deep in, and I was like, whoa, this is a family show.
Right.
It's a family
Right.
show.
Well, good, man. Hope all goes well. Hope it works out. But yeah, man, we're just gonna jump right into it. Amazing first week of the NFL season. Seems like, to me, I was telling Lincoln, like, the off season kind of flew by to me, but once it hit preseason, that joint was creeping by. I could not wait. So I was called Pooh Sunday morning, and I was like, yo, I'm just trying to find stuff to do to
Right.
burn some time. My mom's was here. I wanted to go see her. I was like, yo, just stay long as you want to. I need to burn some time. So,
Right.
I ran out of stuff to do about 12:30, and it coasted me on.
Oh, that's good
Oh, you
timing.
did good. Yeah, you did good.
Yeah, I did. But yeah, good week. So you know how we do. Al, tell
Yo.
me, what do you know that you know after week 1 in the NFL?
I know that San Francisco is still a really good team.
Hmm.
I'm acknowledging that they came in kind of banged up. Guys is just kind of reporting. McCaffrey didn't even play, but they bullied the Jets for 4 quarters. And to me, when you're able to do that, even though, the Jets had some issues and they, hopefully they'll be better by game 5 somewhere as they get more in sync. But I was really impressed with how physical San Francisco played the game. I'm always impressed with how Shanahan calls plays, because I don't think there's another team consistently that gets wide receivers wide open like this cat does. And after watching them do that to the Cowboys last year, I thought it was just something he just picked on the Cowboys, but no, he consistently gets his wide receivers wide open.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially somebody like Deebo Samuels, he doesn't really separate well one-on-one, but he stay open. He find a way to get him the ball.
Very impressive.
Yeah.
And shout out to Debo, because he had a lot of rushing attempts, and I just think that's extremely impressive for him to be an elite wide receiver, but also to run as physical as a running back as he does.
Yeah, that man's a football player. Gamecock for life. Absolutely.
All right.
No doubt. Pooh, what do you know after week 1?
Man, Cooper Cup is still legit, man. He's still a monster.
Yeah.
Yes,
You know, he missed a lot of games last year. Ankle, few injuries going on, but he's still a tough cover, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
7-11, man, stays open.
Yeah, absolutely. After Puka went down, things went right back to how they used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Along with the young guy, Tyler Davis. Um, not really a young guy anymore in his 5th year from Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember him coming out in the draft and he just disappeared. I think he was on a practice squad roster all last year on Tampa Bay, and came out with 6 catches, 79 yards. Like,
Yeah.
kind of stepped into a little bit into Puka's role, but yeah, Cooper Cup is still that dude.
Yeah.
And Puka, you know, for those who think he's a fluke,
Yeah,
I don't think so.
Nah,
Yeah,
Oh no.
he came out on fire.
right.
Oh
He
no.
got out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. No fluke. No sir.
absolutely. Yeah, I could go a million ways with what I know. I know after week one, since we learned so much, and week one is so definitive, right? But I'm I'll just say this: as talented and as I'd say, I want to say like, how should I put this? As talented and as much as they would look forward to, this quarterback class is still rookies.
Mm.
They got a long way to go. And this ain't preseason no more. And you look at Caleb and Jalen and all of them, Bo Nix, like everybody. Um, they are still rookies, and this is not an easy game to just step into. So they got a long way to go. So it's kind of bittersweet to see all of them going through these growing pains, but it'll pay off in the end.
Definitely.
And
It's amazing how much people overreact though week one. I think that's my
yeah,
favorite part of week one is to see the teams, the fan base of the teams that lose, just
yeah.
chuck it in. It's oh my God. Like I mean, there's so many Falcon fans in Atlanta right now
Oh
who
God.
have just given up on the Falcons, and it's just like
Yeah.
it's 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 really just week one. Like calm down.
Right, and especially, and I think this season will tell more of this story, of course, but especially like people saying how bad Kirk Cousins look, it's going to be a lot of quarterbacks that look bad against that Steelers defense.
Mm.
And like overall, like teams are going to look bad. Offenses are going to look bad against that defense and TJ Watt. Like he's going to wreck a lot of games. So until
Mm.
if he gives you a month of looking like that, then you worry about Kirk Cousins. But you can't judge anybody off of week one game against the
Right.
Steelers defense. That's arguably the best defense in the league. So yeah, it's rough. Like between Kirk Cousins now, if it's certain guys you got to worry about because it's been a trend. Like Deshaun Watson, it's a trend of him playing below standard. Um, you start to worry about who they are. Um, you know, um, you look at and some teams you
Mm.
can just tell. Look at Denver, they're not one of the best teams in the league, but they're young, they're rebuilding. So some things you can kind of tell after week one, but
Mm.
yeah, it's easy to jump the gun. So, but yeah, that's why I always like to when we say, "What do you know?" Because in reality, we really don't know. Nobody knows anything until
Oh,
the final horn goes off in February.
I
But
do know one thing.
what was that?
One more thing I know. You don't want to get caught speeding in Miami.
Ain't that the truth, man? um, Tyreek Hill. Well, I think Kanye said it best in a song a long time ago. Even if you in a band, you still a ninja in a coop. Um, so he acknowledged that he probably could have handled it a little better, but the
Definitely.
yeah, he definitely could have. But the standard goes to the peace officer who's supposed to de-escalate. Standards don't fall on the civilian. So, but it was an ugly situation, and luckily body cams were on, and because as I heard someone say, if he was on in the backwoods of Alabama with no body cams, no telling what could happen, Tyreek Hill or not.
Well, and I mean, I think it really is. It illustrates what I'm doing average in air quotes.
Mm-hmm.
But black man is dealing with in
Right.
this country when it comes to law enforcement, because I think I really think when I looked at it, my first thought was like Tariq is acting like he's like he wants to be treated like, yo, I'm somebody, right?
Right.
I mean, like in the sense of somebody, we all somebody, but I mean, I think
Right.
he's
Yeah.
like, nah, man, black men get treated really different. And I
Right.
think what that video showed was just, this is what it's like. And
Right.
I hope, to your point, people look at it and can make some changes, because there's a whole lot of black folk who, when they don't respond, that's how they get. When they don't respond to what a police officer is saying, get yanked out of car, thrown to the car, thrown in cuffs just because,
Or worse.
and or worse, right?
Right.
And so everybody don't get treated like that in this country.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. Another headline before we move on. Rest in peace to James Earl Jones and Frankie Beverly, two legends. It's kind of one they've been both been a part of all of our growing up. So just want to salute them, because James Earl Jones. You think about Darth Vader, Lion King, Coming to America, then some. But staples in our growing up. And Frankie Beverly, luckily I was able to see him in concert. And Frankie Beverly and Mays, and unforgettable. But anybody that can do the same set for 40 years and sell out shows consistently,
Yeah.
that says something. So shout out to both of them.
I didn't know Frankie Beverly passed.
Yeah,
Today.
Today.
Oh,
Yeah.
yesterday. Okay.
Well, late last night. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, I'm gonna call and check on my cousin. He's been his tour driver for at least the last, I
Oh,
want to say
wow.
15 years.
Wow.
I didn't
Yeah,
know that,
man. Yeah.
but I saw in the family chat, everybody was doing the praying hands and whatever, all day today. But I guess me being a jerk, I didn't even look in it.
Right. Well, you are a jerk.
I mean, no, that'll be funny, but I had a lot going on, but I didn't even look in it.
No.
But I bet that's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. So do that, and I'm kind of afraid because these things you say these things happen in threes, so kind of on eggshells right now. So, but yeah, let's get to week 2, man. Give our picks for week 2 and thoughts on who's gonna win and why. First, tomorrow night on Thursday, well, it'll be today's games by the time everybody hears this. So Thursday night football, Buffalo travels to Miami. Both teams are 1-0. Al, who you got? Buffalo going to Miami.
I am going with Miami in Miami. I think their offense is, particularly their passing game, is strong. Lot of respect for what Tua and Mike McDaniels and Tyreek got going on down there in terms of their rhythm, and just not that sold on Buffalo's defense yet.
Gotcha. Pooh, what say you?
I'm signed with Miami as well at home, even though Buffalo's pass rush was tenacious in the second half. of last week's game, but I'm still gonna go with Miami as well.
Okay. Yeah, both make sense. Moving on to the first Sunday game, 1 o'clock schedule. We got Las Vegas going to Baltimore. Both teams come in
Mm.
at 0-1. Um, who you got? Raiders and Ravens.
Going with Baltimore. I think the D is gonna be too much for him.
Gotcha. Yeah, straight to the point. Fair enough. Al, what about you?
I'm going with Baltimore in this one also. I think we saw some signs of a decent running game.
Mm,
I think Lamar's going to play better. He definitely missed a couple of passes last week, but I think he'll uh, rebound from that. And I think Oakland. I think Las Vegas.
mm,
Um, I don't think they have enough to compete. I think the Baltimore's defense is strong. Got quality secondary, decent pass rush. Second level linebackers is legit. So I don't think they'll stand up to the defensive pressure, and the offense will be enough to get Baltimore through.
fair enough. Next, the 1 o'clock, we got Cleveland traveling to Jacksonville. Deshaun Watson coming off a 9 quarterback rating last week, and another allegation. Things is looking bad in Cleveland. They travel to Jacksonville. Al, who you got?
Mm, I'm gonna go with traveling to Jacksonville. Um, I'm going with Cleveland.
Okay.
I think they first week jitters. I mean, coming out, they were definitely rusty. Deshaun did not look
And
his
they didn't
best.
play in the preseason. No
Right.
starters.
Definitely not look his best. I also I haven't checked on the injury. So if they can get one of their offensive tackles back, then I'll feel a lot more confident in this pick. But I definitely think Cleveland will play better. And it was more about it being the first week and injuries than this is what you should expect from them the entire year.
All right. And Jacksonville actually favored by 3 in that game. Who you got?
I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna roll with Cleveland as well. I know Deshaun was going through a lot, but he has to break the trend. Father died. Another family relative passed away, and he had a lot going on that week. He just flat out wasn't there. So I know he's not been there for a while,
Mm.
the way it's been looking, but hopefully he can show some resemblance of himself. I think the Browns D, um, I think they're going to be able to not really shut him down, but do enough to win.
Yeah. Two-part question. Do you think we'll ever see the Deshaun Watson from Houston again?
I was hoping, man, but just looking, I think he just missed too much time.
Yeah.
Missed too much time.
Second part of the question. How much longer before they have to decide to make a move? I Benjamin going with Jameis Winston if he continues to look that bad.
I don't think
Because
they're gonna make a move this year.
it's been 17 games total, and
Hmm.
I can remember maybe one game and a
Mm.
half of that game against Baltimore last year when he was pretty dynamic. Everything else has
Hmm.
been underwhelming. So you think they stick with him for the remainder of the year?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
We know what Jameis is. Um, for that, I mean, play Deshaun for that.
Right.
I kind of
Plus, you're
disagree.
paying him what, $50 million a
That's
year or something like
I
that.
think I think that's a big issue.
Yeah, and that's definitely a big issue. But Jameis ain't gonna give you a 9 quarterback rating. Like that's absurd. Like
It's absurd,
to
but
throw the
Jameis,
ball 47 times, you get 170 passing yards.
I mean, I don't recall any picks being ran back for touchdowns, though. James at least going to give you 14 and 21 of
Yeah,
those, but
but he gonna give you 14 to 21 on the scoreboard too for your
he
offense.
definitely
Like,
going to give you that now.
and if you like, that's what I'm like. If it's that bad, I think Deshaun's EPA is expected yards per average was negative 22. Like that's I don't even know any basketball players with that low. Like different. Like that's crazy. At that point, I might call Bernie Kosar.
Mm,
But shit, I'm a Steelers fan. Let him play.
right.
All right.
I mean, I also, kind of like the comments you said about Kirk Cousin and the Steelers. The Cowboys is a really, really good defense.
That's
And
true.
especially once they get up on you, especially if you're not able to run the ball. And they were not able to run the ball. And I'm not
Yeah.
sure, I don't credit that necessarily to our defense. I think it's more about Chubb's not being there as well as they're missing two of their
Yeah.
offensive linemen. And so not to attribute that to the to the 9 rating because
All right.
that's a lot. But I do think some of that though has to do with some of those other factors.
Yeah, it wasn't just him. Because yeah, the line was bad, the running game was horrible. The
Mhm.
defense didn't show I can't think of any you know, I watched that game in full. Like I can't think of any positives for Cleveland in that game. But as again, I'm a Steelers fan. I hope it gets worse. I don't care.
I
But
think that defense. I also expect that defense to play better.
Mm.
yeah,
Um,
they got to.
mhm.
Yeah. Um, Next on the 1 o'clock schedule, we got Al, your Jets traveling to Tennessee and the magnificent Will Levis. Um, who you got?
Well,
Both teams
you
0 and
know,
1, by the way.
both teams on one. Um, I I like Levis. Although I think he's the blame for them losing the game last week.
Yeah.
Um, but I do think he will be a decent quarterback in this league, and he'll be better by the end of the season. I'm going with the Jets. I think their defense is going to have to come out and play better. So I expect them to have a chip on their shoulder.
Mm,
The Jets were not able to run the ball. And I just think they came out real vanilla in that first game. And maybe it's because they didn't have a lot of plays. San Fran definitely consumed a lot of the play clock and just couldn't get them off the field offensively. And so maybe with a little bit more plays, they'll have be able to distribute the ball a little bit more and get the ball to some of their playmakers. So I'm going with a better defensive showing and Aaron Rodgers building on his okay performance this past week, and the Jets pulling it out.
okay. Pooh, what say you?
On the Jets as well. I'm looking for their D to play better. I don't think they D played well at all. Will Levis, I mean, of course, I watched the game, played the Bears. He really played a good game. He had one bad play. He really threw the ball on the one when he did throw. He threw the pick at the end of the game to Jalen, but he was just trying to make a play. It was really good coverage. But he made one bonehead play, and it definitely cost him. But throughout the game, he played really well.
Mm-hmm.
The one bad play was pretty freaking bad, though.
It was the
No,
bad
it was a
play.
horrible play.
that was,
That
that
was
was,
the
that
play.
was, yeah, that was, y'all had no business winning that game.
Mm-mm, mm-mm,
Y'all had no
mm-mm,
business. But yeah, well, I
mm-mm.
guess
But hey,
at
it's the
some point,
NFL.
right,
Take it as you can get it.
right, it's only so many of those plays you can have before your name becomes a verb.
Mm,
Before people
mm.
start saying, "Man, Will Levis gonna Will Levis," like,
Mm.
oh man, he Will Levison out there. Like people gonna start referring to you as a verb. You continue to make plays like that, so it's got to get better. Next game, 1 o'clock on Sunday. 49ers travel to the Vikings. Who you got?
gonna get ugly. 49ers.
Yeah.
30-3.
Oh, you picking scores. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can't argue with you. Al, what it look like?
Yeah, I'm going with San Fran in this one. I don't expect it to be that ugly, but I do think they should not have a problem um with Sam Darnold and the Vikings. Um I just think the physicality, the offensive rhythm, and yeah, the running game was very, very, very impressive, San Fran.
But this is the game that this is why they play the game. You know,
Yeah.
that the Vikings will come out like animals and
Mm-hmm.
you know, I mean Vegas, somebody win big in Vegas if
Mm,
if the Vikings pull
yeah.
this one out.
Yeah. San Fran on the road, favored by 6.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, um, most games in the NFL are close, but I just don't picture the 49ers running into a Sam Darnold bus in Minnesota. So,
No.
yeah.
Sam Donald Books, so it's not happening this week.
Yeah.
Sam
Not this
Donald
week.
Buzz, so
Oh, yeah,
true.
that ain't gonna happen. And another JV game. Well, at least the home team got the Chargers traveling to Carolina to take on the
Mhm.
Panthers. Um, Pooh, who you got? And this is gonna be a nail biter.
Man, I think the Chargers gonna be too much. Defense, the defense played well last week.
Yeah,
I think they're gonna run it down Carolina's
yeah,
throat, man.
yeah,
Chargers.
yeah. That might,
It's gonna get
uh,
ugly.
it might be over somewhere between Jose and Can You See? I don't know. Al, what you think?
Man, I like what I saw from Los Angeles, the Chargers. The running game with Dobbins was very productive. I think very balanced attack.
Yo, speaking of which, I don't want to cut you off, but you said J.K. Dobbins. Did you see him break like that 70-yard run and then just break down and give out? Like he was like, I ain't ran this far since high school.
Like, ouch.
Right. He was like, come back, somebody come tackle me. Like it was
Right,
crazy.
right.
But go ahead, that was fun.
Um, and I'm curious to see what Bryce Young looks like at the end of the season. They got to get him a running game. I like him. I like the young man as a quarterback, but I feel like his if they don't step up and play better around him, I think some more weapons would be nice. I'm just fearful that his confidence and maybe just even get beat up. I'm really rooting for him, but just not looking good in that first week. So I don't want to overreact, but it definitely didn't look good that first week.
Yeah, I mean you can ruin a young quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And that could happen. Al, we got the Seahawks traveling to New England. Two teams that most weren't expecting to be 1-0, especially New England. Who you taking?
I'm gonna go with the Seahawks. Definitely did. I was one of those people who picked against the Patriots last week. So I'm gonna see if I get it right this week. But I like the combination of Kenneth Walker and Geno Smith with the play action, and so it I think I am a little fearful that it is in New England. But I just think that ultimately Seattle is a better team, and not I'm not a huge fan of Jacoby Brissett either.
Yeah, feel you. All right, cool. What say you?
I'm gonna go with Seahawks as well. Oh, I know Kenneth sat out today with the abdominal issue, so
Mm,
Charbonnet might take over this week. But I think it's gonna be a really close game. Brissett, he moves the change though. You
hmm
know, he keep drives going. Definitely not impressive, but he's not like a hindrance, so to speak. So
mm,
they're gonna run the ball well. They're gonna play good D. However, going with the Seahawks.
mm.
Okay. Um, and another one that should be a good game. We got the Saints traveling to your Cowboys. Al, Pooh,
Mm.
who you got? Both teams 1-0.
Cowboys. I think the Cowboys gonna get the W. Unlike last week, I think the Saints. This is gonna be a tough passing game for them to stop. Another week that got paid. They're gonna get CD Lamb going. I don't know too much about the running game with the Cowboys with Zeke, but he had a pretty good game.
He did.
But but I don't know about that. But I think they're gonna be able to smother the Saints passing game. Kamara he's gonna get his touches, he's gonna get his runs, he's gonna get his catches. But I'm seeing the Cowboys pull it out, maybe like 17-21, 17-24. Things gonna be a tight game.
Okay. Al, before we get to it, so I had a pretty long back and forth conversation in the comments last week with a Cali Cowboy 805, so Cowboys fan. He got on me because one of my statements last week was Dak always gets it done, especially in the regular season. Um, Obviously, he disagreed. He stated that it's time to move on. So, what are your thoughts on Dak's new contract? And shout out to Cali Cowboy fan, by the way.
Shout out. I am, when it comes to quarterbacks, I'm not a believer in just throwing a good quarterback away just because, unless you have something better. I just feel like there's not a lot of good quarterbacks out there. But if you have something better, then by all means, I don't see anything better on our roster. Now, I am surprised that they paid him now. I really expected them to let the season play out. And then, I just thought that's how Jerry Jones was going to do it and then try to negotiate. But
do you think if Dak
I just
hits
think
the open market, he's there more than 2 minutes?
I think he wants to stay in Dallas. Right. So I did imagine as long as there was comparable money, he would pick Dallas. I think it was a better play to pay him now if you're trying to keep him because the price is going to go up.
He ain't going to get cheaper.
He's not going to get cheaper. Right. And so I think it was smart if this was their ultimate desire to have him, be with Dallas to go ahead and get it done for the security of it all and the cost of it all. But, while he has not played better in the playoffs than he does in the regular season, he's just 30. So that, there are definitely quarterbacks who have had that history and still won in a postseason. And so, I'll take my chances with Dak. I think he is beloved by his teammates. He's an amazing leader. He stays out of trouble. And that says a lot to me in terms of leadership at the quarterback helm, trying to have a steady ship. And so I'm not arguing that he's the best playoff performer, but for a few reasons, I can appreciate the move that the Cowboys made, and we'll take it as we can. But I mean, you get rid of Dak and you end up with Baker Mayfield or something like that. You know what I mean? And it's like,
hey, Baker looked good.
He did look good, but he don't look better. And I think
he ain't MVP runner-ups type.
Right. Yeah. And Dak had a great season, to your point, last year. And again, the players around him love him. They really enjoy playing with him. And so for a whole lot of reasons, I'm not upset that they paid him. And I just hope that it is a contract that still allows him to keep talent around him. That's a lot of chang.
No doubt. All right. Well, who you got in the game? The Saints coming to town.
Man. I do think it's I think, you know, there are some Cowboy fans who think this is going to be an easy game.
Oh, I thought you
You
was
look at what the
this.
Saints,
Yeah.
you look at how the Saints played. I think they played really good. I think Derek Carr is definitely a quarterback who, when healthy, can light it up. I think they have a solid physical defense. Um, and so I think it's going to be a really good game, good test for the Cowboys. But I'm picking Dallas to pull it out on the road.
Okay. All right. Next game, NFC East. Giants go to Washington. Who you taking there? This might be who can get to three first.
Yeah, this is you know, both of these teams lost. The Giants look terrible, so it's kind of hard to pick them. So I'm gonna pick the Commanders because they didn't look as bad as the Giants this week, and so I like Jaden, and so I'll for the sake of me liking him as a player, I'll root for him and hope they beat the Giants this week.
All right. Who you got?
I'm gonna go with young Jaden Daniels as well. I think Washington's gonna be able to score, and I think the Giants will not.
Hmm.
You got to score to win.
That's
So
usually how it works. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
no doubt. All right. Um, Also at 1 o'clock, the Buccaneers travel to Detroit to take on the Lions.
Mm.
Who you got?
I'm gonna take the Bucks.
Okay.
Ooh,
I'm gonna take
woo.
I'm gonna take the Bucks. I think they're gonna be able to score, enough on Detroit. But I think they D match up pretty well. In their secondary. Ooh, you know what? Winfield's out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm picking Detroit.
Okay.
Yeah, Winfield's out. I don't know if he's gonna be out for several games, but I can remember on fantasy football playing the DP. He's out. He's out. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm going with
Yeah.
Detroit.
Okay. And Detroit's favored by 7.5 at home. So, yeah. Al,
Good
who you
pick.
taking?
Yeah, I'm going with Detroit. Um, their offense has a lineup full of weapons, and
Mm-hmm.
as long as Golf continues to distribute the rock, they're gonna be hard to beat.
Right. And one of the best O lines in the league.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Indianapolis at 1 o'clock travels to Green Bay without Jordan Love. Um, Al, what it look like?
Yeah, without love, it's a totally different game. Um, I'm going with the Colts. Not a huge fan of Malik Willis, who's Green Bay's backup.
Yeah.
Now we'll see. We'll see what we got going on. But until he shows it, I'm not a believer. So I'll go with the Colts in this one.
Right. Pooh, who you taking?
They're gonna stack the box, stop Josh Jacobs. I think Josh Jacobs still goes for 100. However, Colts win.
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna be scoring. I don't think Green Bay's scoring much.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Malik might not go for 100
Hmm.
passing. Malik Willis might not go for 100 passing. So, yeah,
Mm.
no, this might be ugly. But that's Green Bay's fault, man. Today's game,
Mm.
you got to have a viable backup. You don't go into your season with Malik Willis. As much as I
No way.
want him to succeed and I liked him coming out of college, he's not ready. You don't go into the season with him as your
No
primary
way.
backup. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
No.
not sure what they was thinking on that one.
Yeah. Especially now to go out and sign Ryan Tannehill. Why not have him be your backup? I think that's crazy. But hey, again, I'm a Steelers fan. I hope it gets worse. I don't care. Um, 4 o'clock. Starting the 4 o'clock games, you got the Rams traveling to Arizona. Pooh, who you taking?
Taking Rams. Rams D look really, really good. O look really, really good. Even though without Nakua, The Rams have a bevy of receivers, so they're going to be fine. Matthews slinging it. I'm going with the Rams.
No doubt. Al, what say you?
I think me and Pooh have like picked every pick the same so far.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to break the code right here and go with the
Mm.
Cardinals. Um, um, I agree with him. The Rams played really well. Cooper Cup went bananas, but I'm expecting Kyler and Marvin to get connected at some point and get more
Right.
involved.
Mm.
And this might be the week. So for the sake of it, just we can't go all the way down this thing and just pick the same. I'm gonna go with the Cardinals in this one.
All right. Oh, next one, game of the week every week. Pittsburgh travels to Denver. Um, Primetime matchup. TJ Watt versus Bo Nix. No, I'm just kidding, man. Who y'all got? Al, who you taking?
um, I'm going with Steelers. Um, they did who did they did they go with Justin?
Right now, it looks like Justin Russell was limited today.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I think Justin played well enough that he should get a shot. And but I I like what I saw in terms of their defense, and so I think from a defensive perspective, they should make it hard on the rookie quarterback. And even though I think he did a decent job first week out, Bo, but I'm going with Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Bo Nix, the check down merchant. Um, and you got to go past 10 yards. Look out. Pooh, what you think?
Man, TJ and Hightower, they're going to wreck the game.
Mm.
Um, they're just going to wreak havoc. Uh, Harris goes for 100 yards. Might even get 2 touchdowns, man. Steelers.
Okay, I ain't gonna argue with you. And another one that's a pretty important game for Cincinnati traveling to Kansas City. Um, Bengals came out last week and laid an egg.
Hmm.
And so they go 0-1 traveling to Kansas City. Of course, obviously, with the threat of being 0-2 staring them in the face. Pooh, who you got?
I'm going Bengals.
Okay.
I'm going Bengals. Jamar's back. I think Higgins practice. I think Higgins is back. Not quite
Okay.
sure. But Joe was like 17 for 19, but he didn't have anyone to throw it to. Like he didn't have anyone to make a play. A bunch of young guys. I mean, Jamar did play, but of course, he sat out. He wasn't really ready to go. But I think T and Chase is back, and for some reason, the last few years they've been able to have success against the Chiefs, even though this is a different Chiefs team defensively.
Mm.
Um, I think the Bengals will be fine. I'm gonna go ahead and pick the Bengals for the upset.
Okay. Al, what say you?
I'm gonna go with my homie. Um, I like how they spread the ball around against Baltimore. I think the defense was solid. Um, I think since he's still out of sync, so I'm gonna go with uh I'll go with the Chiefs in this one, and close one. I think it'll be maybe even a playoff matchup. They might see each other late in the year, but I'm gonna go with the
Yeah.
Chiefs.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, on paper, it should be a good one. I'm not sure. Maybe just chalk up last week's game to this one of those films for Cincinnati you just throw away. Don't even look at the film. Um,
Hmm.
uh, Al, Pooh's Chicago Bears travel to Houston this week. Should be a good one. Who you got? Both teams 1-0.
Ooh, I think Houston has too much. So
Yeah.
um I'm thinking that with CJ Stroud and Diggs, that connection will only continue to get stronger. I really liked Houston's defense, particularly that pass rush. And I think Caleb is still figuring it out. So they did step up last week. The defense, special teams did what they need to do to get that win. But I think I'm going to stay with the home team on this one and go with Houston.
Okay. Cool. I know y'all ain't picking the same on this one. So
No, sir.
tell me why
No,
you
sir.
don't agree. All right.
I knew this one was coming. I knew he was going Houston, and I knew I was going Bears. So I knew we were going to have this conflict here.
He's ready.
But
He's ready.
yeah. But of course, I'm going with the Bears. I think last week was a one-off against the run. Pollard, for some reason, man, he always have success against us, man. I don't know what it is, but I think we're going to play well against Mixon this week against the run. I think we match up well with their receivers, with Johnson and Stevens. But I think we have two Pro Bowlers at corners and probably one at safety with Brisker. So, and we have one of the best slot guys in the game with Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
I just think we're going to match up well against them. The thing is, are we going to score? I think Caleb plays better. I think the line plays better, even though those guys are coming. But I think we're going to be fine. I think we're going to pull it off by 3.
Okay.
Who y'all got running the rock?
We got Swift. Swift played well. He averaged 6 yards a carry last week. He averaged 6 yards a carry last week. We just got behind and didn't run.
All right. Yeah.
I like Swift.
Yeah, I like Swift. Y'all got a pass rusher opposite Sweat too. Taylor.
He's an animal.
Yeah.
Who is that?
Darrell Taylor.
He's an animal.
They traded from the Seahawks right before the season, and
like a 6th-round pick.
Yeah, kid had 2 sacks. Like,
man, he reminds me of Crosby. Like what I'm saying is, like his motor.
Yeah.
His motor's crazy.
What's his name? What's
Darrell Taylor, and he's in the contract.
Taylor.
Yeah, he's on every tackle.
Yeah.
He's running 100 miles per hour. He's the one who caused the fumble as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, we got this guy for free.
Yeah. So
he's an animal, man. He's an animal.
He's nice. Yeah. Last game of the week, we got the aforementioned Atlanta Falcons traveling to Philadelphia, coming fresh off a trip to Brazil. Who you got?
I'm going with Philly. However, it's going to be closer than what everyone thinks. I think Atlanta, I think they're going to be fine, man. I think Kurt's going to sling it, but like I say, man, every time I channel check to the Steelers game, TJ Watt was in the backfield. So, I mean, Philly's good, but they don't have anyone like that on the D-line. So I think Kurt's going to be able to get the ball off, and I think it's going to be close, but they're not going to outscore Philly. So I'm going Philly.
No doubt. Yeah. And like NFL voters for awards just need to stop playing and overthinking. TJ Watt's the best defensive player in the game. It ain't close. It was ridiculous.
That kid, wow, man. I was in awe because I was like, the tackle hadn't even got out of his stance.
Right.
And TJ was bending. And I was like, already bombed.
Yeah. And without the 2 penalties, he would have had 3 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, 3 tackles for loss. It was ridiculous, man. Al, who you taking, Atlanta, Philly?
I'm gonna go with the upset alert and roll with the Falcons on this one. And I think while they pulled the win out in Brazil, they didn't impress me though. And I'm not sold on Green Bay, so I like the fact that Green Bay took them to the limit, like it wasn't a blowout type game. I'm not sold yet on Philly. And I do think um the Falcons, to everybody's point, like going against Pittsburgh defense, you can't judge what you saw just on based on that game. They are the fans, news, giving them the business down here in Atlanta, and so I think they're going to respond to that. I think Kirk tends to play better with a little, kick in the rear type thing. So I'm Bijan Robinson wasn't the Bijan that I'm expecting. So I think we're gonna see a little bit of that. And so I'm a roll with Atlanta. I think they have the to me the wide receivers that can match up. Like I don't think Philly matches up well with those receivers. The receivers and Pitts, I think, if they spread it out and spread them out, keep Jordan Davis off the field. I just think there's some matchup problems if they attack this Philly defense from a spread perspective. And I'm going with Atlanta.
Yeah, and Atlanta can't come out and Ray McLeod cannot be your number one receiver.
No,
Can't get the most targets. You got to spread that well. So
now when you got Drake and Kyle Pitts
and Bijan, it's too much. Yeah. So absolutely. Well, the show lineup for this week. We'll see how it goes. Good luck to your Bears, your Cowboys, and your Jets. Good luck to my Steelers. We'll see how it plays out. Before we roll, I think well, first of all, we're gonna bring you on another round of trivia next week so I can defend my title against Al.
sounds good.
Against
Sounds
Pooh,
good.
and Al gonna
I
host.
got the trivia. I'll hold the
No
trivia.
doubt. But until then, man, see y'all next week. Anything before we leave? Anything to get off your chest?
Hey, if you're playing daily fantasy, go out, get Jordan, play Jordan with the kid's last name for the Niners.
Jordan Mason.
Jordan Mason.
Yeah.
Go ahead and get him before McCaffrey gets ruled out and his dollar amount go up. But he's definitely the pick of the day, man. He's gonna run. He's gonna run. He's gonna run
nice.
early and often against the Vikings, and he's gonna have a really, really good day. So go out and get him before Christian's ruled out and that dollar amount shoots up.
Yeah, and he gonna run hard.
Yeah.
Ran very hard against the Jets.
Right.
Like people were bouncing off of him. Like that's the part that had me like, dang. Like I mean, Mosley, DJ Reed, like they coming trying to deliver the wood and walking back to the huddle like, yo, ouch.
Right.
So, yeah, I agree with you. He's somebody to look out for. Now nothing, football is back, man. Enjoy your weekend, whether it's a Friday game, Saturday game, or Sunday game, man. Enjoy the football. Be safe out there.
No doubt. And only thing I got, man, if you got dogs and cats, lock them up for somebody to eat them.
Don't do that.
What?
Don't do that. Don't do that.
So
don't be spreading them vicious rumors like we got family in Ohio, man. They don't do that.
Y'all be good, man. We'll talk to y'all next week. Until then, defy life.
Defy life.
Defy life. Peace.
Peace.